Okay, today we are going to make a daily schedule. This is one that I have made and I sell on my Etsy shop and sell on my blog. It's pretty basic that you can basically make a daily schedule or daily planner totally customizable to whatever you do in a day. So yours might look totally different than mine, but I'm just going to show you, we're not going to recreate this particular one, but I am going to show you maybe more of a minimalistic look that just to give you an idea of how to kind of start yours and create yours the way you would have it for your life and your daily schedule. So you're going to start in PowerPoint. We're going to go to blank presentation. Then I'm going to go up to design, over to slide size, and I'm going to make this 8.5 by 11. Okay, so then I'm going to click on my paper, Control A, and just delete all this. So I'm sorry if I'm going a little fast. I try to do every video where I'm talking to somebody who might not be familiar with PowerPoint. So if you're very familiar with PowerPoint and you feel like this is going much too slow, just kind of speed it up or skip it along if you want. Totally okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with just kind of blocking in certain areas. So, and most people when they do a daily schedule, let me pull this one back up here. When you do a daily schedule, you're going to have your times here, maybe something like a to-do list. Not everybody exercises or has that many spaces for workouts, but a lot of people, everybody tries to stick with some kind of a meal plan, especially if you're a mom. This is nice to have just to keep in your mind what you have to do throughout the day. So these are kind of what I would assume would be on the basics for just about everyone. Excuse me. So we'll get there. Okay. So we're going to start with our schedule for the day. So there's a couple ways you can do this. Let me show you one way. You can make a table. This is super nice template to have here for when you're making forms and whatnot. This is probably not what we're going to stick with, but I am going to show you how to use it. So if you want to do a table, which is something we're going to be doing for the times, for the different hour slots of the day, you're going to, if you can see, this is usually like your header. And then the longer you go down, it kind of just adds more columns for you. Now, if you just want one slot, you would just stick with one, but you can have as many as you want. And I can show you how to even add more if you want more than what is available in this table over here. So we're going to start with 2 just to show you how to do this. Okay. We're going to move this down because we don't want it taking up the entire page. So let's say that if we wanted it to be, here. Now, obviously, there's going to be more hours in the day than this. So I generally would start with like a 6 a.m. to a 9 p.m. time slot. So we're going to need quite a few more. So you're going to go down to your either one of these columns. You're going to right click on there and you're going to go down to, oh, I'm sorry, it shifted on me. You're going to go down to insert. Okay, and it tells you can insert a column to the left, to the right, in the top or below. We're just going to do that. Now we've created a step here. Okay, so I could go through and I could do this again exactly like I just did, but an easier way to do this is to go to your home, and this is your repeat button. Okay, so whatever action you just did, this will repeat it. So now I can just add as many as I want. Okay, so let's say this is about what we want. So what I would do if I were to use these tables is I would slide this over. You can click right into these boxes. That's a really nice feature. So let's say I would start with 6 a.m. and then you can just go down and kind of fill it out like this. And then you would leave this blank most likely because this is what you're going to want to fill in with whatever you have going on for the day. So this is what you could do. This is a very quick, very easy way to create your daily schedule. You can, let me show you real quick before we get off of this. You can change this up. So you can format, or you can change in the the text colors. You can do the fill color, so like you can change the different colors in here depending on what you want. It's really nice, really nice to work with. I do not always stick with whatever they let me type in. I actually will sometimes add text boxes, and you can't really tell when you're on this small of a format, but let's say if I were to say daily schedule, then if I were to just type it in, you can't do anything with it. You see, so it's exactly how it is. I mean, you can maybe do it more into here, and you can change the font and stuff, but it doesn't always center the way I like to do it, or if I want to have it all the way over here flush. I mean, it just is a little bit harder to work with, so I usually always use a text box. It's just, I can do pretty much anything I want with the text box, whereas going with their set parameters is just a little bit less to work with. So you can use your set parameters, just click in here, type what you want. If you're making a basic daily schedule, I mean, honestly, you might not care about how it looks. I mean, I don't know. But for me, I like to use a text box. But this is one way to do all this, okay? This is one way to get started. But I want to show you how I would do it. So right now, the minimalist look, the just the really basic plain looks are really popular right now. I love the look myself. So what I would do and I'm probably going to create this and then put it up on my Etsy shop, is I would start with something like this, and I would we're gonna change the fill to white, and then I don't know, I'd stick with maybe black. We'll have to see. You know what? Let's do this. Let's go with green. I'll tell you why in a minute. So I would probably stick with something like this, and maybe throw in a text box right up here in the corner that says daily schedule. And then what I would do is I always center my text box. It's just a habit of mine. But what I would do is I would make the shape fill. I would turn it white. And that way, when I have it here in the corner, it just kind of looks like, I don't know, let me show you here. So it just kind of tucks it right up here in the corner. And I don't know why, but I really like this look. And you'll see as it goes by, as I do the rest of these, just how minimalistic it looks. And it just looks really pretty. And when I add in a few clip art, it'll just tie everything together. So I would do something like this. I would throw in... you could do another text box where you do the times. Let's say do 6 a.m. and I'm not making this really pretty right now, just to kind of give you an idea. And you just kind of go through here and do this. Let me speed this up for you. Okay, so I could do it like this, where I have it all set up. You know, I want to stick, let me try and get a font going here that I would really like. Let's just go with something like this. I love this font. Okay, so I'm going to space this out a little bit. So I'm going to select the text box, so that way it does it all at the same time. And let's just do this one here. So that means we're going to have to stretch this out just a smidgen. Okay. So now this is all stretched out. So this is super minimalistic. I'm not looking for anything super fancy. You can add lines here if you want. You can make this full page if you want. I'm just kind of working to show you a little bit of how this will work, or how this can look for you. We're gonna fancy this up for you in a minute. So this would be like my daily schedule. You can add another one over here, and this would be, you can make this like your to-dos. I like to keep the size the same, so let's gonna see here. You can copy and paste this one, this shape here, to keep it exactly the same width as the other one, or you can just use your guides. It kind of shows you. So we're gonna do your text fill is gonna be, we're gonna go shape fill is white, and then we're gonna keep the shape outline green as well. Then we're going to do another text box, and this one will probably say to-dos. All right, right, I'm going to center this one, and this one we're also going to fill the shape so it looks is just like the other one. Okay, so you just kind of eyeball it. It lines up a little bit with the other one. It doesn't have to, but it's just kind of your thing here. So we have a spot for to-dos. You can add lines if you want, or you can keep it blank. A lot of people like the blank look. We're gonna just fill it in. So we can kind of repeat this here. Let's see, to show you a quicker way. I'm going to select everything here, and I'm going to hold down the control button, then push the C button and the V button. So that duplicates what I've selected. So let's say we've got to-dos. Let's see, we can do meal planning, or we'll just say meals. Okay. You can add in here, you can leave it blank, but most likely you're going to want to divvy this up just a slight bit. So we're going to copy and paste just to give this a little bit. We're going to do breakfast. I'm going to make this flush with the left, okay, just so it looks a little bit more like this one here. So we do not have the same font, so let me fix that. I want Arbani. So we have a breakfast one. Just to give this a little bit more uniformity, I'm just going to skip it down. We're going to do lunch, dinner, and then we can do snacks. Or let's see, let's do dessert and then snacks. Okay, so this is just something you can break it up with different fonts if you want, different colors. This is just going to be what I've got here. I'm going to change these fonts. They drive me nuts. I like to always use 2 fonts. It just kind of breaks it up a little bit. So we're just going to go with this. I'm not a super fan of, flowery text, but I feel like for what I'm looking for, I'm going to try and go with this one. So I want this to be the same size font, so we're going to go back up here, select the same one, and then make that a 24. Okay, so we're going to change the colors as well when I add in the clip art. So this right here, okay, this is pretty much basic what most people would use. Okay, this is pretty much, I think, what everybody could say. I would fill this out. Just about everybody would fill all these out on a daily basis. But of course, depending on what your schedule is, you can do your own. You can do whatever you want add in here. So I'm scooting this down just so you can kind of see. We're going to add up here a daily schedule. You want to probably do a header. So let's do that really quick. I like to do, daily. So I'm going to show you what I was planning. So here I like to add the different fonts. So you have one font for daily, one for planner or schedule, whatever you want to call it. But I think just for the minimalistic look, we're going to just stick with one font on this one. So we're just going to say daily schedule. We're going to click on the text box. We're going to center it. I make text boxes pretty long just to kind of save time on making it bigger later when I'm trying to figure out what size I want it. Obviously, you don't have to do that, but it just saves a little bit of time. So I'm going to switch the font. Alex Brush is what I'm using for the captions of the different boxes. That looks good. I could stick with this one, which actually I kind of like that one. So we're going to do that. It's a smaller font than Alex Brush, so it gives me room to kind of make that a little bigger. I will probably go with the green on this one. Okay, so this is pretty basic. Let me scoot these up here now that we know what our header looks like and the size. So this gives me just a little bit more room down here to add one more box. So I'm going to scoot this up so that it is pretty center with the other one. And let's make this just a little bit smaller. And let me see here. Yep, that's actually pretty right on. Okay, So now I have room to do one more shape. So let's go back to the shape we were using. Let's make it okay. So we can do something like this. We'll probably want to bring it out to the sides where the other ones are, just for uniformity's sake. All right, so now we're going to fill it with white. The outline is green's already selected, so I'm just going to click on that. Going to do another text box right here, and this can be whatever you want it to be. Let's see here. You can do a workout. You can do goals for the day, tasks to do, which just kind of goes up with your to-do list. If you have a goal, let's say to drink 8 glasses of water, this is a good one. So let's do water intake. Just kind of show you how I do this. We're going to center it there. We're going to change the font. And we want it 24, so it's the same font size as everyone else. And we're going to take it over here to the shape fill, and we want it to be white. Okay. So we're just going to kind of take it back like where the rest of them are. Okay, so we have our water intake. So this one is fun. You can do, let's see here. There's a whole bunch of different fonts, or I'm sorry, shapes that you can pick from. And let's just do a circle. Let's just make it pretty simple. I always have a hard time finding my circle. Here it is. Okay. So we're going to make this circle. So let's say if you want 8 of them, obviously, let's do 0.75, 0.75. So they're all the same. And we're going to Control V, and we're going to get 8 of them here. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So I want this to be, we're going to fix it here in a second. So I want to kind of line these up with the starting and the ending of where I want these to go, and then I'm going to select all of these shapes. Make sure I get this bottom one. Okay, so nothing else is selected, it's just the shapes. It's not my text or my box, so as long as I have just the shapes selected here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to Arrange, and I'm going to go to Align, and then I'm going to distribute these, let's see, horizontally. Okay, now that gets it exactly the same separate distance from the next one, but now they're not in a straight line. So we're going to go back up to Arrange, down to Align, and now we are going to align, we're going to align these in the middle. Okay, so you can just take your up arrow and just scoot them on up. Okay, to about where you want them to be. Okay, and now you're good. See, it goes all the way across. Now, obviously, I don't want these to stay, so I probably should have kept them selected. So I'm going to go up to my shape fill. I'm going to turn these white. Then the outline, I'm going to stick with green for right now. Okay, so then when you drink your 8 ounces, check mark, check mark, check mark all the way across. Okay, so that's just something simple. Now what we can do, let's insert some graphics that really, okay, obviously this is a really minimalistic look. So this is something that you could print off right now just as it is. I think it looks good. You can touch up just a little bit as far as like lining up the fonts of text. This is these are black fonts, which I wouldn't stick with them. I'd like them to have a little bit of color, but I will change that color when I add my picture in. But if you want to print it off just like this, I think it looks really good. I think that this is something a lot of people would like. It saves on ink, especially if you keep it all black. But if you want to give just a little bit of color, let me show you something that is I love. Let me go here. Okay, here we go. So I love these clip art sets. These are something that I use in a lot of different designs, and they actually sell really well on my shop. It's kind of what everybody's into right now. So I want something with a little bit of color. So I could go with something that has a colorful base. I'll probably stick with this one. So I want this to kind of be, I would like this to be as close to full size as possible, just to give it as much space on my page as possible. So when you have a picture and you're wanting to center it, you just move it to where the graph line here turns red. And it's kind of hard to see, but you can usually see when the center turns red. There you go. Okay, if you don't have these graph lines here, you can add those in here. Go up to view, add your guides, okay? And they stay on until you change them. So now that I have my graphic right here, what I want, I'm going to stretch this out just a little bit because I actually want this to be as full page as possible. You know, I don't like that look because that's not normally how the plant looks. So we'll keep it like that. So now what I'm going to do is I have this graphic selected still. The solid line tells me that this is what I've selected. And then I'm going to send it. You can send it backward, but that would only take it back one element on your page. If you wanted to go to the very back of all the elements on your page, then you would go to send it back. Okay, so now it goes all the way back. And then you still have your clip art selected, so now you can kind of stretch it out, which I still might go with that. Let's see. And if you want to bring it even further down so you can see it below some of your other graphics, you can do that. You can bring it up higher just to kind of give it a little more of a look. I'm not a huge fan of how this looks on my page. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select something different. I think I'm going to go a different angle with this. I'm going to just delete that. I'm going to insert pictures. So we're going to go back. And I'm actually going to go a little bit of a different technique with this. So I'm going to select, let's do a hanging plant here. Well, let's do this one. I'm going to make this small. And I'm going to stick this up into a corner because these are my hanging plants, okay? And I'm going to stick this here. We're going to send it all the way to the back to give you an idea. Now that you can see, you have a back here. This text box looks a little wonky because you can see the text box here, whereas before it just made it look really pretty like that. So you can change your shape up just a little bit with your text box. You can do some cool shape effects. So like the edges, you can make them, oh, you don't do that. Let's do, hold on here. Probably want to do soft edges. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So that your edges, you can make them softer, which I feel like just has a little bit better of a look to it than just the sharp edge that we had. Okay, so that's an option. And then you can just insert a bunch more color onto the page. So if I were to do this, this would be a fun thing to do. Let me show you. Let's see, I want to get a skinny plant. I'm going to bring it all the way down to where it's just a little bit. And then I'm just going to kind of center him right here. Okay, just give a little pop of color. And then I might do that a couple more times on something else. So let's see, just to give you an idea of how to do this. And obviously this would be totally to your taste. So we could kind of do something like that, just to give it a little bit of color, just a little bit of, you know, just a little bit more than what it has. And then we can, whoops, reverse that. So we can just kind of make it however you want. It really, you can play with it and just be as creative as you want. Keep grabbing the wrong. So let me show you some. Obviously I made this font really, really huge and it gets in the way. Well, once you decided what you want to, the length you want this, just shorten it down. Just take my advice for it. Shorten it down, it'll stay out of your way. Because you'll keep grabbing it as you tweak things and it's just super annoying. Alrighty, so this is super basic. This is kind of what I would do if I were going with more of a minimalistic look. And obviously you saw, you can customize it to anything you want. but this is a kind of a blank canvas for you to get started on. I hope it helps. I hope it gave you some inspiration to make something really unique with your own. If you're looking for graphics, you can go on Etsy, type in any kind of graphic that you're looking for. One of my favorite graphic places to go is Creative Fabrica. I have a subscription where I pay a certain amount a month and I can pretty much download as many graphics as I want, which is dangerous for someone like me who likes to download graphics. So, but it's really great because you have countless options, and you can seriously customize it to whatever you want with all the options available to you. So anyways, I hope this was good for you. I hope this really helped. I hope I didn't go too fast. If you have any questions, comment below and I will answer if I can. One last thing, because I just noticed this. This I told you I was going to change. I left these black because I did want to add them another color element. So if I were to do this, I would change the inside fonts to something else. So I would probably even do that with these here too. So my outside boxes I like to keep green, and in the inside I would probably change, that was not a font, that was a shape. So that would be a different area. So I'd go up here to shape outline and I would change those to brown. So do you see how it just makes it a little bit different? And then obviously these are black, so you could do these green, or you can do them brown, or you could do them completely different. Like here's the blue, so let's pop in a little bit of blue just to give it a little bit of color and subtlety. So you see how that just, once you kind of have the graphics you want, you can play around and just make it as anything that you want, and it's really fun. I love making printables, and the more you do, the more creative you get and the easier it becomes. So I hope this was a help, and I'll see you in the next video.